Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Mac with another game from the Global Gamers Invitational round of 64. This is Game 2 between oGs.TheWind. Don't be fooled by his name, he's just using a borrowed account. oGs.TheWind versus his opponent Mark, the Purple Protoss. Like I said, Game 2 of the series. And if you haven't seen Game 1, watch it now before I spoil it. Game 1, Mark did not succeed in attacking that fast expansion of his opponent, and the Wind took the win. Once again, thanks to those sponsors, iFixit, Esports United, and the Handsome Nerd, the three of them generously donating lots of cash and prizes to the prize pool, making this a tournament of consequence. So a huge thanks to them. Without this, this would just not be possible. So without further ado, here is the match. Looks like the Overlord taking the obvious route, not going to find anything there, and a quick scout out from Mark. And looking at the Zerg player, he has sacrificed an extractor for an extractor trick, so probably going to see something very similar, 12, 13, or 14 spawning pool, followed by the hatchery. I was surprised by how early his spawning pool was last game. Not very typical of American Zerg players. The US Zerg players tend to get very late spawning pools, but the Wind favors the 12 pool, followed by the hatchery. I certainly won't tell him he's wrong. Worked pretty well for him last time. It's nice to have both queens out as early as possible. And Mark Scout closing in, so he's going to get a look. Maybe this time he'll be able to interfere with that hatchery drop. And he is walling off nicely with a pylon and a gateway, getting the gas at a very standard time, so he's playing pretty much identically. Wouldn't be surprised if we see another 4-gate push on the Zerg expansion. Unlike Metalopolis, it's much easier to hold this nice narrow choke point. You can just lay a wall of spine crawlers near your expansion and your choke point, and it's very hard even for a Protoss player to move up. The advantage for a Zerg, however, is that it's nice if you can get your Zerglings into flank, so fewer zealots can hold this quite nicely. The dynamics of a choke point like this can be pretty hard to call depending on the unit composition, so we'll see which side that favors more. And this probe is getting a very nice look around. He has a tangled web of scouting already pre-planned, and the Overlords are closing in on Mark's base. So far he is laying down his Cyber Core before the Zealot. Probably going to go straight for the Stalker to clear out the Overlords and then lay down his tech without being detected. Never mind, the Zealot is going down just as the Cyber Core goes down, so the Stalker will be a little bit late. And those first Lings are out, 6 Lings just like last time, going to chase this probe down and deny any further scouting opportunities, and this hatchery was laid down without any problems. Queen's already on the way, the second Queen already being trained. And this is an interesting decision. I have yet to see this exact build from Zerg, but I like it. First Queen does not infuse the hatchery with larva. Instead, she goes straight to the edge of the creep, lays down a tumor, and then sets up to infuse the second hatchery. This lets him link up his bases far earlier, making it much easier to defend against early pressure. That being said, very easy for a Protoss player to just throw down some force fields here, block off all reinforcements, and just hammer on that expansion. So the 6 Zerglings closing in on Mark's base. He is walled off nicely with those 2 Zealots, so he has nothing to fear. No Stalker so far. Looks like he's just going to play Zealots and Sentries, which is what he should have played last game. So clearly learning from his mistakes, his opponent favoring the Zerglings, and the correct response is to favor Zealots with Sentry support. So a good play from Mark there. And he is laying down his second 2 gateways. Wouldn't be surprised if we see one more. Those Zerglings unable to pierce the wall of Zealots. I think that probably cost him a Zergling. We'll check that loss tab. It did lose him a Zergling. And there's the 4th gateway. So 4 gateways have come down. Probe laying a pylon down so he can warp outside of his base. Here comes another Overlord, undetected, so it might get a look at the 4 gate and help the Wind prepare for that push. So we'll see when his vision gets it. He has caught the 1st gateway. And Mark moving out with 2 Zealots and a Sentry. And I think he has seen enough. Yes, the Wind has seen 2 gateways being laid down. He figures that as enough information mixed with these guys pressing out, so he's going to prepare for this expansion. And right on cue, there it is. 2 spine crawlers just in front of his expansion hatchery. And production-wise, still just producing drones, but I suspect we will be seeing some Zerglings fairly soon, getting that lair tech so he can get those Hydralisks. Hydralisks really stop the 4 gate nicely with spine crawler support. And we do have another proxy pylon from Mark. And 4 warp gates, well 3, but soon to be 4 warp gates up and running. So we're going to have another 4-gate push. Here comes a scouting probe, getting a good look around and see what he's up against. Sees those 2 spine crawlers and the Lings and the Queen. So this is fairly doable right now. a sizable army advantage for the Protoss player, warping in some more Zealots. Nice composition this time around, lots more Zealots to deal with these Lings, and the Wind being smart, getting these Lings out, and scouting this army to see his composition, warping in 2 more units, and also laying down 2 more Spine Crawlers. So last game, Mark went in with a very, very small force. It got eliminated, but now he's waiting to mass, and that is a good strategy. The Zerg opponents will often underestimate you when you do this. But here comes that push finally, and the Stalkers in the front again. God, I'm so sick of seeing this. Stalkers in the front getting hit by Spine Crawlers. The Zealots taking forever to get around to engage those Lings. Finally, the Lings do go down and engaging those Queens up close and personal. All the while, these Spine Crawlers are just firing away, all of them. And they are continuing to pick away at these Zealots, but nice push. One of the Queens is down, only 1 Queen up and standing, but he needs reinforcements in now to finish off these Spine Crawlers, where his push is going to fizzle. So Mark really, really needs to get a few more units in. There's some Zealots, but it might be a little bit too late. He's so low on forces now, and more Lings are out, and rejuvenation on this second Spine Crawler. So looks like he's reinforcing Lings just in time to prevent these Spine Crawlers from going down. This Queen looks like she might be dead too. 20 hit points left, but does get away barely, and only 1 Stalker survives. And very, very nice response there from the Wind, laying down 2 more Spine Crawlers. He's rebuilding this wall as it's being taken down. Another push from Mark, just not enough forces. Those Lings do get the surround, and still, constantly, these Spine Crawlers have been attacking non-stop, and every one of these pushes, they do so much damage for their cost, way more than Zerglings. Mark being a little bit irresponsible with his pushes, and he's going to probably get this, but by now, the drones are off the line. He just needs these 2 Spine Crawlers to get up, and he will survive. Hydralisks are now being produced, and it looks like Mark was not going to be able to close the door on this one. He's going to lose this Stalker to those Lings and Hydralisks. The wall is still standing, and his 4-gate attempt has failed, so he really needs to expand now, or it's going to be it for him. He should just stop this pressure. It's too late. There's Hydralisks, and he could not get these Spine Crawlers down. The armies are now equal, but looking at income differential, well, I guess only 2 drones. Not a big deal. He delayed the Zerg player enough. He does not need to keep this pressure on, but I guess he's going to try again. I cannot agree with this. This is very irresponsible play. It's time to back off. Your opportunity's been lost. And 3 again with the Stalkers in the front row. Just a little bit too late. And those Spine Crawlers and Hydralisks firing non-stop. Mark calls the GG, and he is eliminated in Game 2. So unfortunately, Mark can't add a second pro head to his trophy wall. oGs.TheWind is going to advance to the next round, the round of 32. Well played on his part, but never really got past the early phase of the fast expansion gambit. So still, he does execute that quite well. Hats off to him, and great play from Mark. Did his best, but just not quite enough. So good game. Keep following this tournament on TeamLiquid.net, and keep tuning into IC Cup TV. We should have lots more games with a lot of big names in this round of 64. Tons, pretty much every famous player you've ever heard of, you will have his game if he hasn't been eliminated. And until next time, have a good one.